Did you know that Native American tribes have some of the strangest and most fascinating histories, traditions, and quirks? Today, we're uncovering 101 bizarre facts that will make you see U.S. tribes in a whole new light. From jaw-dropping rituals to unexpected historical twists, let's dive in. 1. The Comanche were masters of horseback warfare, capable of riding and shooting with unmatched skill. They could hang off the side of a galloping horse, using the animal as a shield while firing arrows with pinpoint accuracy, a tactic that baffled their enemies. 2. The Cherokee tribe developed their own written language in the early 1800s, known as the Cherokee syllabary, invented by a man named Sequoyah. This innovation was so successful that within just a few years, the majority of the Cherokee people were able to read and write in their native language, long before many other indigenous languages had written forms. 3. The Zuni people perform a ceremonial ant dance to honor ants for teaching them the value of teamwork and food storage. They believe that by mimicking ant movements and rhythms, they connect to nature's wisdom and ensure future prosperity for their community. 4. The Inuit people traditionally used moss as diapers for their babies, proving their ingenuity in harsh climates. Not only was it absorbent, but it was also biodegradable, making it an early example of sustainable parenting. 5. The Hopi are famous for their rain dances, but here's the twist. It's said these rituals have coincided with sudden downpours on numerous occasions. While some call it coincidence, others believe their deep connection to nature grants them this mysterious ability. 6. The Navajo were some of the first people to use rugs as currency. Their intricate, hand-woven rugs weren't just decorative items. They were so valuable, they were used for trade and even served as payment for services. The level of craftsmanship? Priceless. 7. The Paiute people used a special type of rock to track the movements of animals. These tracking stones would change color when animals passed nearby. It's like an ancient version of a wildlife camera trap, except they didn't need batteries or Wi-Fi to make it work. 8. The Iroquois Confederacy had a system of government that inspired the U.S. Constitution. But here's the twist. They gave women the power to choose leaders and remove them if necessary. Imagine a world where women hold veto power over the leaders. And it's not 2024, it's the 16th century. 9. The Lakota Sioux conducted the sun dance, a ritual involving fasting, dancing, and acts of physical endurance. Participants would pierce their skin and attach themselves to a sacred pole, symbolizing their sacrifice and deep spiritual devotion. 10. The Pueblo tribes built intricate homes into the sides of cliffs, some of which are still standing today. These dwellings weren't just for show, they provided natural insulation and defense against invaders, a brilliant combination of engineering and strategy. 11. Some native tribes tattooed their teeth for spiritual protection. Yes, you heard that right. Tiny designs were etched onto their pearly whites to ward off evil spirits. This dental art wasn't just for aesthetics. It was about holding off dark forces with some serious bite. 12. The Choctaw tribe used stickball to settle disputes. Picture this. Hundreds of people in a chaotic game where the stakes weren't just bragging rights but the fate of entire villages. No pressure, right? If you lost, you had to accept the other tribe's terms. Modern sports definitely have nothing on that. 13. The Osage tribe had a unique custom where they would bury their dead in a seated position, facing east, so their spirits could greet the rising sun. This practice symbolized respect for the deceased and ensured that the souls would continue their journey toward the next life. 14. The Sioux tribe had a tradition of giving away possessions to show generosity and gain respect. Known as giveaways, these events were more than just charity. They were a way to build social bonds and demonstrate strength through selflessness. Talk about a humble brag with a purpose. 15. The Haida tribe in the Pacific Northwest built totem poles that told family stories, legends, and histories. These towering sculptures weren't just for decoration. They were like a giant family tree in wood form, with each carving representing important ancestors and events. Talk about telling your story in style. 16. The Cree people had a fascinating tradition of storytelling that was passed down through generations, but with a twist. Stories were sometimes told backward. This method was believed to help keep listeners engaged, as the surprising reversal of events forced them to pay close attention and think critically about the plot. 17. The Choctaw tribe's language is said to have played a role in World War II, when native speakers were used as code talkers to send secret military messages. Their language, which was nearly unintelligible to outsiders, became one of the most effective, unbreakable codes of the war. Native American languages, literally saving the day. 18. The Seminole never signed a peace treaty with the U.S. government. In fact, they were so tough they resisted relocation for decades, becoming one of the only tribes to never officially surrender. Their message? Come and take it was pretty much their motto. 19. The Shoshone tribe could communicate over long distances using a unique form of sign language. This wasn't just for secrecy, it was a practical tool to communicate across language barriers between different tribes. They essentially had the first version of texting, before phones even existed. 20. The Pomo people had a festival that involved a massive dance circle where the entire tribe would come together and dance for days. This wasn't just for fun. These marathon sessions were seen as a way to connect spiritually, and they had a powerful impact on the community's unity and energy. Talk about a group workout with a spiritual bonus. 21. The Tohono O'odham tribe, who live in the deserts of Arizona, created a special type of cactus wine from the saguaro cactus. This sweet beverage was made from the fermented juice of the cactus fruit and was an important part of their culture and celebrations, as well as a source of hydration in the desert heat. 22. The Hopi tribe believed they were descended from the underground world and would return there after this life. Their belief in a cyclical existence ties back to their deep connection with the earth, seeing life as an ongoing cycle between the surface and the underworld. It's like they had their own built-in environmental philosophy. 23. The Kickapoo tribe held sacred running contests, where participants ran long distances as a form of prayer or to receive blessings. These races were not only physical challenges, but also deeply spiritual practices. 24. The Chumash tribe, from the coast of California, developed one of the most advanced forms of canoe building in the Americas, known as tomals. These sturdy and seaworthy canoes allowed the Chumash to travel far distances for trade, fishing, and exploration, making them one of the most accomplished maritime peoples. 25. The Blackfeet tribe believed that the first humans came from the earth, and their spiritual leaders would often bring them back by holding sacred ceremonies. These rituals were so powerful that they were thought to literally restore people to the earth's origin, creating a profound sense of unity with nature. 26. The Wampanoag tribe helped pilgrims survive by teaching them how to grow crops like corn, beans, and squash, what we now call the Three Sisters. They were the original farm-to-table gurus, using sustainable agricultural techniques long before it was trendy. 27. The Nez Perce once held a grand council where 5,000 people gathered to make decisions for the tribe. This wasn't just a village meeting, it was a full-on conference complete with speeches and debates. Imagine the logistics of organizing that in the middle of the wilderness. 28. In some tribes of the Great Plains, there was a practice known as two-spirit, where an individual could embody both male and female gender expressions, and this was considered a special gift. Such individuals often played important roles in their communities. 29. The Mohawk tribe became famous for their Mohawk haircuts. But did you know they wore them to signify their warrior status? Their distinctive hairstyle, shaved on the sides with a strip of hair down the middle, was not just for show. It was a visual marker of their bravery and commitment to battle. 30. The Yurok tribe had a form of currency made from abalone shells. These shells, prized for their beauty and rarity, were used as a means of trade and were so valuable that they could even be used to settle disputes or purchase land. It's like ancient bling, but with real value. 31. Tribes of the northeastern coast, such as the Pennacook and Abenaki, had the tradition of a silent chief, sachem, who made decisions based on the advice of a council of elders, but rarely spoke in public. This created a unique dynamic of leadership. 32. The Yuki tribe, which lived in what is now California, used a base 8 numbering system, octal, rather than the familiar base 10 system. This made them unique among most Native American peoples. 33. The Shoshone invented a type of snowshoe that allowed them to travel across deep snow without sinking. This early innovation in winter footwear made them one of the most efficient tribes in harsh, snowy conditions. You could say they were the original snow day enthusiasts. 34. The Kiowa tribe believed in a spirit called the Red Dog, who was said to help warriors in battle. According to legend, this supernatural protector would appear to warriors in times of need, ensuring victory and safety. The Red Dog sounds like the original superhero, but with more fur and less spandex. 35. The Cayuga tribe, one of the 6 nations of the Iroquois Confederacy, had a tradition of refraining from speaking the deceased's name during funeral rites for a period of time to help the living come to terms with their loss. 36. The Cheyenne tribe had a tradition of gifting elaborate quill work to mark significant life events. These intricate designs were sewn into clothes and blankets as a form of storytelling, turning every stitch into a vivid chapter of personal history. Talk about embroidery with a deeper meaning. 37. The Choctaw people were known for their resilience, especially when they helped the U.S. Army during the Civil War by sending troops, despite having suffered their own forced relocation. Their decision to join the fight was a testament to their strength and loyalty, even after all they had endured. 38. The Yurok tribe, native to Northern California, had a unique tradition of creating cedar bark capes, which were worn during ceremonies. These intricate garments were not only a symbol of status, but also a demonstration of skill, as crafting them could take weeks of meticulous work. 39. The Inuit used animal bones and ivory to create delicate jewelry and tools, turning materials that most would discard into objects of beauty and utility. Their resourcefulness was a true form of art, blending survival skills with creativity. These weren't just functional items, they were wearable works of art. 40. The Algonquin tribe had a belief that dreams were the portal to the spiritual world, where their ancestors could communicate directly with the living. Dreams weren't just fanciful thoughts. They were seen as sacred messages guiding everyday decisions. Forget the dream journal. They had a whole spiritual hotline. 41. The Havasupai tribe has lived in the Grand Canyon for over 800 years, with their own private paradise tucked away deep in the canyon. Their remote village is accessible only by foot or helicopter, and they've made a life in one of the most breathtaking and least accessible places on Earth. Talk about a secret hideout. 42. The Arapaho had a practice called the scalp dance, where they would celebrate a successful raid by dancing with the scalp of a defeated enemy. While this may sound barbaric by today's standards, it was a way to honor the warriors who had achieved great bravery and victory in battle. This tradition is a stark reminder of how warfare was once woven into cultural identity. 43. The Coahuila people are famous for their sky watch, a practice where they would track the movements of stars and planets to predict seasonal changes. Their ancient knowledge of astronomy was far more sophisticated than many realize, showing that these tribes were not only in tune with their environment, but could anticipate its shifts with precision. 44. The Cheyenne tribe was known for its impressive ceremonial war bonnets, which were worn only by the bravest warriors. These extravagant headpieces were made of feathers, beads, and fur, and each feather represented an act of courage in battle. Wearing one wasn't just about looking impressive, it was a public display of your bravery. 45. The Inuit used whalebone to create tools, building everything from harpoons to sleds, due to the scarcity of wood in their icy environment. Whalebone was incredibly strong and durable, making it an essential material for their survival in the harsh Arctic climates. 46. The Nez Perce used their horses to create a mobile village, where they would set up their camp and then quickly break it down and move it. Their efficiency in packing up and moving made them one of the most mobile tribes in the Pacific Northwest, capable of adapting to changing landscapes and conditions with ease. 47. The Mojave people had a custom of life masks, where they would mold masks of their deceased relatives' faces to honor their spirits. These masks were carefully crafted and displayed to keep the connection to the dead alive. It's a kind of ancestral tribute that feels as personal as it is sacred. 48. The Apache had a unique way of measuring time based on the position of the sun, rather than clocks or watches. Their method involved using shadows cast by objects to determine the time of day, turning the natural world into their own giant timepiece. No need for Apple Watches when you have the sun as your guide. 49. The Apache tribe was known for its skill in crafting woven bottles from plant fibers. These waterproof bottles were used to store and transport water in desert conditions. 50. The Yakima tribe had an interesting custom where warriors would adopt an enemy's weapon after a successful battle, symbolizing the transfer of power. Instead of destroying the weapon, they would keep it as a trophy of victory, essentially absorbing the strength of their defeated foes. This tradition was as symbolic as it was victorious. 51. The Ute tribe was famous for their spirit stones that were believed to have magical properties. These stones were used in rituals and carried by warriors for protection, good luck, and strength. They weren't just rocks, they were considered portals to the spiritual world. Who knew rocks had such supernatural power? 52. Tribes from the southwestern United States, like the Papago, Tohono O'odham, developed special methods for water conservation in the desert, including the creation of clay vessels and utilizing natural depressions in the land. 53. The Assiniboine tribe, related to the Arapaho, had a unique method of bison hunting, using special corrals or traps to herd the animals. This required intricate organization and deep knowledge of bison behavior. 54. In some tribes, like the Cree, there was a belief that animals had their own villages in the spiritual world, and hunters had to show respect and maintain a harmonious relationship with the spirits in order to continue receiving their permission to hunt. 55. The Crow tribe had a tradition of the counting coup, where warriors would show their bravery by touching their enemy with a stick rather than killing them. This practice demonstrated courage, as it required getting close to the opponent without actually harming them. It was a way to prove you were bold enough to face your enemy head-on. No killing necessary. 56. The Shoshone tribe's warriors were known for using war clubs in battle, which were incredibly effective in hand-to-hand combat. These clubs were made from heavy wood, often adorned with bone, stone, or metal spikes, making them formidable weapons. If you were in the wrong place at the wrong time, these clubs would certainly leave an impression. 57. Coastal tribes of California, like the Chumash, used natural tar that oozed up from the earth to seal their woven tommal boats, making them waterproof. This was an early example of using natural resources for practical, technological purposes. 58. The Sioux believed that buffalo were sacred creatures, so much so that they used every part of the animal. Nothing went to waste. From meat to hides, bones to hooves, the buffalo provided nearly everything they needed. They didn't just hunt buffalo, they honored them as life-givers, with deep respect for their role in sustaining the tribe. 59. The Mohican tribe practiced a ritual called the Game of the Little People, where children would chase and catch tiny wooden figures. These figures were believed to bring good luck if caught. It wasn't just a game, it was a way to teach children the importance of patience, skill, and respect for the small things in life. 60. The Yuki tribe practiced a complex ritual of mutilation during certain ceremonies, where scars were deliberately marked or teeth removed as a rite of passage or a sign of belonging to a particular group. While this may seem brutal by modern standards, it held deep cultural significance. 61. The Nez Perce tribe is known for their incredible horse riding skills, but they also invented the Nez Perce saddle, a design that helped them ride for hours in comfort. This innovation revolutionized long-distance travel on horseback, and without it, their famous flight from the U.S. Army during the Nez Perce War might not have been possible. 62. The Cheyenne tribe was one of the first to use horses for battle. But did you know they also developed a unique form of horse racing as a means to train warriors? These races weren't just for fun. They helped build speed, stamina, and precision, creating some of the most skilled horseback riders in North America. 63. The Kalispel tribe, located in the Pacific Northwest, had an extremely intricate system of fish traps that were used to catch salmon. These traps were constructed in such a way that they allowed the fish to swim into a netted area, but made it nearly impossible for them to escape, providing an effective and sustainable way to harvest food. 64. The Tlingit had a custom of potlatch, where wealth and possessions were given away in grand ceremonies. This wasn't about generosity, it was about showing off wealth and power. The more you gave, the higher your status, creating a competitive cycle of gift-giving and prestige. 65. The Apache tribe was famous for their knowledge of herbs and plants, which they used to create powerful natural remedies. In fact, their healing techniques were so effective that even some Western medicine practitioners borrowed ideas from their vast knowledge of local plants. 66. The Yakima people used to have an annual Indian Shaker Church gathering, a spiritual event where the tribe would come together to sing and dance, invoking the power of sacred spirits. The church was considered a place of healing, and the music was so moving that it was said to bring spiritual renewal to the participants. 67. The Natchez, who once lived in what is now Mississippi, had a complex social hierarchy led by a supreme ruler known as the Great Sun, believed to be a direct descendant of the sun. Their social structure was among the most intricate of any Native American tribe. 68. The Siksika tribe, a part of the Blackfoot Confederacy, had a custom of creating medicine bundles, sacred bundles of objects that were believed to contain spiritual power and were kept in the family. These bundles were not just talismans, they were considered living entities, capable of influencing the health, safety, and fortune of the tribe. 69. The Atacapa tribes, living along the Gulf Coast, practiced an unusual double burial tradition. First, the body would be placed on raised platforms, and after some time, the bones were gathered and reburied at a different location. 70. The Seminole tribe had a custom where, instead of writing letters, they would send messages through intricate beadwork. Each color and pattern held specific meanings, transforming simple beads into a form of communication that could convey complex ideas without a single word. 71. The Zuni people believe in the sacred Kachina dolls, which are said to be inhabited by spirits that bring blessings and protection to the community. These handcrafted dolls represent deities and are used in rituals to connect with the divine, essentially tiny spiritual helpers with a lot of responsibility. 72. The Crow tribe had a fascinating custom called the Vision Quest, where young warriors would spend days alone in nature, fasting and meditating to receive a vision or message from the spirits. This rite of passage wasn't just about survival, it was about spiritual enlightenment and discovering one's purpose in life. 73. The Inuit had a practice known as kayaking, but it wasn't just a fun activity. It was a necessity for survival. Inuit hunters used kayaks to navigate the icy waters, and their boats were so expertly designed that they could even maneuver in treacherous ice flows, a true testament to their engineering skills. 74. The Inuit people have the most complex system of words for snow, with over 50 different terms to describe various types and conditions of snow. They didn't just see snow, they understood its every form and nuance, making it a critical part of their survival and culture. Talk about being snow experts before it was trendy. 75. The Yuman tribes living along the Colorado River had a distinct cremation ritual for the dead, where the body was burned on a funeral pyre. This set them apart from many other tribal funeral customs. 76. Alaskan tribes like the Tlingit had a complex clan structure and a matrilineal system where lineage and clan membership were passed down through the mother. This deeply influenced social relations and inheritance. 77. The Choctaw had a distinctive practice of head flattening in infants, which was seen as a mark of beauty and high social status. This intentional process was carried out at a very young age. 78. The Zuni people traditionally performed seed ceremonies to bless the crops before planting them. During these rituals, they would offer seeds to the spirits of the earth, asking for a bountiful harvest. It was like sending the best wishes for good crops. straight to the spirit world. 79. The Mohawk tribe was known for their skill in building longhouses, which were enormous communal homes that housed multiple families. These homes were built with such precision that they were able to withstand harsh winters and provide space for the entire extended family, making them early pioneers of communal living. 80. The Cheyenne people used the wind in the willows as a symbol of spiritual change. Whenever the wind rustled through the trees, they believed it was the spirit speaking to them, offering guidance and wisdom. The next time you're in a windy area, think about how many spirits might be giving you a pep talk. 81. The Navajo tribe is known for their intricate sand paintings used in healing ceremonies, but did you know they're made to be destroyed after the ritual? The idea is that the painting is a temporary tool to focus spiritual energy, and once the healing is complete, it is wiped away, symbolizing the impermanence of life and the power of transformation. 82. The Ojibwa tribe used to craft dream catchers to protect their children from bad dreams. These delicate webs were woven from twigs and decorated with feathers and beads, believed to filter out negative energy while letting only good dreams pass through. Talk about a spiritual nightlight. 83. The Assiniboine tribe had a tradition of creating medicine pipes, which were used to invoke the spirits during healing ceremonies. These pipes were considered sacred and were often passed down from generation to generation, ensuring that the knowledge and spiritual power contained within them was preserved. 84. The Seminole tribe, famous for resisting the U.S. Army in the Seminole Wars, had a habit of using guerrilla tactics that confused their enemies. They would hide in dense swamps and use decoys to mislead troops. These tactics were so effective that they earned a reputation as one of the most elusive and strategic tribes in history. 85. The Inuit people didn't just rely on dog sleds for transportation. They also had a dog sled team system where each dog had a specific role. Some were leaders while others pulled the sled. It wasn't just about getting from point A to point B, it was about teamwork and coordination in the harshest of conditions. 86. Tribes of the northwest coast, such as the Hidatsa, developed a system of trade languages, or jargons, to facilitate communication between tribes speaking different languages. These simplified languages made trade and intertribal relations much easier. 87. The Seminole tribe were some of the first people in America to have a form of government that allowed for women's participation in political decision-making. The women in the Seminole society held considerable power, often serving as advisors and guiding the direction of their community. 88. Great Plains tribes like the Arapaho and Cheyenne had sophisticated signaling systems, using smoke, fire, and light reflections to send messages over vast distances. This allowed them to quickly warn of danger or announce important events. 89. The Nez Perce were such skilled horse breeders that they were known to have horses with unique color patterns and physical traits. These horses became highly prized by other tribes and even European settlers, showing just how far their expertise in animal breeding stretched. 90. The Pueblos were incredible architects, creating multi-story adobe dwellings known as pueblos, which were built into cliffs for protection and stability. These homes were often connected by ladders or tunnels, allowing families to live both within and between the rocks for defense and to keep their community tightly knit. 91. The Mohican tribe had a custom called the Thunderbird Dance, performed to bring rain during dry seasons. This ritual involved dancers mimicking the movements of thunderbirds, mythical creatures believed to control the weather. It wasn't just a performance, it was a prayer for water, nature's most essential element. 92. The Tlingit people believed in the Land Otter Man, who was a mythical figure that taught them how to hunt and survive. This hero was said to have transformed from an otter into a human, and his teachings were passed down for generations as crucial survival knowledge in the harsh climates of the Pacific Northwest. 93. The Paiute tribe used a fireball technique during battle, where they would throw burning bundles of brush into the air to confuse enemies. This unconventional weapon created confusion and fear, as the glowing fireballs would appear to come from nowhere, like something straight out of a fantasy battle scene. 94. Some eastern coastal tribes had a tradition of name exchange between two people, which created a unique, strong bond and mutual responsibility between them. This practice was a way to strengthen social ties and partnerships. 95. The Crow tribe has a fascinating tradition of war paint, which wasn't just for decoration. Each line and symbol painted on a warrior's face told a story about their personal accomplishments, victories, important battles, and significant achievements. It was like their personal resume, but much more colorful and meaningful. 96. Imagine a legal system where the harshest punishment is public shame. This was the approach used by the Cree, where individuals guilty of serious offenses might be put on display in a humiliating way, a form of punishment seen as more powerful than physical violence. 97. The Arapaho tribe believed that the first buffalo was created by a mythical creature known as Thunder. Thunder was said to have shaped the buffalo from the earth and sky, and the buffalo became an essential part of their life, both spiritually and materially. Without thunder, there would have been no buffalo, and without the buffalo, their culture wouldn't have thrived. 98. The Pima tribe's expertise in irrigation systems was so advanced that they were able to grow crops in the harsh desert environment of Arizona. They constructed canals that brought water from rivers to their crops, making them one of the earliest examples of sustainable agriculture in the Americas. 99. The Hopi tribe uses a Kachina prophecy, where masked dancers embody the spirits and predict the future. These ceremonial dancers aren't just entertaining. They're believed to have a direct line to the gods, providing guidance and foresight for the tribe's future. It's like having spiritual fortune tellers at your annual festival. 100. The Kiowa people were known for their unique storytelling tradition, where they would use painted hides to depict scenes from their myths and history. These paintings weren't just for decoration. They were used as visual narratives to pass down stories from one generation to the next, making their culture rich in both art and oral tradition. 101. The Lakota Sioux believed that a person's name was more than just an identity. It was a reflection of their soul. In fact, a child could have multiple names throughout their life, each representing a different stage of personal growth and achievement. It was a way of keeping track of one's journey, like having a spiritual name tag for every phase of life. 101 strange and fascinating facts about Native American tribes. What's the weirdest tribal story you've heard or learned? Got some facts that'll make everyone stop and stare? Drop them in the comments below. Let's make this the ultimate knowledge battle. And if you enjoyed this deep dive into the unexpected, hit that like button and subscribe.